gentlemen, welcome once again to the fun show here at BATV.
Yeah, you always say that every week. He says the same thing. All right.
Do you have any topical musical interlude for us to begin this evening, sir? Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Somebody hide the keys on you today. Happy birthday, Mr. President
Obama.
Happy birthday to you.
What a lousy song.
Marilyn Monroe did it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't resist the Mr. President illusion there.
With a wiggle on the end.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you had a song. Then you had a song for another highly overpaid individual who we have an interest in here.
So long, it's been good to know you. So long. What were we singing about?
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
A fond farewell to Alex Rodriguez,
Oh.
who, while he may be playing tonight, will probably not be around by the time the Red Sox play the Yankees.
Why don't you tell everybody who he is?
Who he is?
Yeah.
This guy?
Yeah, you didn't tell anybody.
No, I didn't. I didn't get to the introductions
Oh,
yet.
I know. You had me playing a song for the president or something.
Well, that's the way we usually open, you remember?
That's true. All right, go on.
All right. Michael Sallen behind the keyboard.
Oh,
Arch
boy.
O'Riley opposite, quibbling. And in between this week, we have as our guest here, David Poles, who is a executive coach and a counselor and in a number of fields.
And one of the nicest men I've met lately.
Met today, right?
And a blossoming singer.
Can you sing?
Well, you have to play that. We'll do it at the end.
The other one.
We'll do it at the end.
What's the other one?
The other one is Those Were the Days.
How's
We'll do
it
that
go?
at the end.
How's it go? I forgot.
Here, I'll give you the line you always remember. Gee, my old LaSalle ran great.
Wait a minute. No, that's not it. Okay. All right.
That
You
brings
told
up
us.
the wedding march.
You
That's
told us
pretty
about
good.
A-Rod, didn't you? Okay.
Well, we did comment on the fact that they have suspended Mr. Rodriguez for 211 days. Is that correct, David?
That's what I heard.
211 days.
Does that mean
He
he
is
can get a
appealing
job
it, though.
working at an old hedge fund for John Henry? Is that what it is? He's
I
gonna
don't
do
think
that?
John Henry would have any particular interest in hiring him. After all, he played for the Yankees.
Well, so what? He's going to be on.
The interesting thing, however, is that in the perverse way these kind of things always happens, this is the best thing that could possibly have happened to the New York Yankees. Because this guy had the worst contract in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
And now the Yankees are going to be out from underneath it.
Well, you know all about that, don't you? How big was that contract? Was it
I think it
hundreds
was
of millions?
275 million over 10
12
plus
years
years
or something, whatever.
something like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a huge.
It was
amount of
ridiculous.
money. Yeah.
I mean, they paid him $30 million or something since the last time he played. You know?
To pick up his bat, that was 30 million.
But now they get
yeah.
out of it, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, the Celtics, when they have like Reggie Lewis, was it Reggie Lewis?
Reggie
I forget.
Pierce.
No, not Pierce.
Reggie.
Pierce is the other.
Reggie
But
Lewis.
I mean, they have
Kevin-
their draftee die of an overdose before he ever played a game, and then they had
Len Bias.
Len
Lenny
Bias.
Bias, and then they
we
had-
never saw poor
Then they
Len.
had a star
Yeah.
player who died of a heart attack in practice and stuff.
That was Reggie
And
Lewis.
they
Who
had
was
to
that?
carry
Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis. It was Reggie Lewis. Yeah. I get confused because they named a track after him, and then, so I kind of wondered whether Reggie Lewis was in fact a track athlete. But and they never got any benefit. It's hard to say benefit in that case, but they had to carry that on their salary cap
Tax
roll
that
to
special
the end of
luxury
their contracts.
tax. The luxury tax.
So
that it?
that kept the
You know-
Celtics down
you
for
know
years
what
and
it
years.
is. Okay.
Anyway, so the Yankees are lucking out again because they're the Yankees.
Okay. Do you think this guy Snowden will play for any of these major league teams in Russia?
I don't think Snowden has any athletic ability. So what's
He's the
the
one
question?
that Putin is keeping there. So why?
Oh,
Maybe he could be play. Does he play baseball, Snowden? We don't know.
I'm not too familiar with that.
Or basketball? I don't know anything.
I
about
think
that.
I could probably guarantee that he has no athletic ability whatsoever.
Well, he's pretty good on the keyboards for the computer there. Yeah.
And that usually means no athletic ability.
Oh, it does. All right. Well,
Anyway, David, do you think that we should make a big deal with Russia about this guy?
no. What do you say,
I didn't
David?
ask you.
I know, David. What do you say?
Well, I think it's quid pro quo. We have some folks that they would like to have returned, so if we
Do we?
give them back some of their spies, then maybe they'll give us
Yeah.
him.
Like the
I think
Israelis.
Do you think we're holding people?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, the Israelis did that, didn't they? They gave Netanyahu gave up 105 people there to get the Abbas to sit down, the Palestinian leader there. He gave up a lot of. Some of them were real murderers that he gave up. But I know in your textbook, forget about it. Okay, it's all right. Okay.
Well, I think we should just ignore it. I mean,
Okay.
For instance, calling off the meeting between the president and Putin. The fact of the matter is we've overreacted to this guy, in my opinion, entirely on things.
Is he guilty?
Well, what do you mean guilty?
Well,
he
he's-
doesn't deny that he did what he did,
Yeah,
so that's
okay.
not an issue, right?
Okay. Well, what will they do? What would the government do? They wouldn't shoot him if they got him back. What would they
They
do?
don't seem to shoot people anymore.
No, they wouldn't put him in. They wouldn't put him in jail for 163 years.
Well, they might.
They might.
They might.
Do you think, David? Do you think they'd put him in jail for 100 years? This guy,
They put him in a nice
cushy place
cushy cell with a TV and
for about
a
3 months.
keyboard
Did you
and
like that
computer
sentence they gave Mr. Castro the other day? The gentleman who had the 3 women captive for 11 years.
yeah, he
in
got
his house.
1,000 years.
He got life plus 1,000 years. So
Yeah.
100 years at Gitmo, would it be kind of mild compared to that, right?
I think
Think
they
of
should
all
have.
the taxpayers' dollars paying for his time there.
They should have put him in the middle of
That's a
Death
question
Valley.
we frequently ask.
Death Valley, with a 130-degree temperature day, they should have put him there without any clothes.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're hostile towards him, right?
I don't like Castro. No, I don't.
No. Oh, Castro. Oh.
Castro, that
okay.
guy who kept those 3 women in jail.
Was that his
Yeah.
last name, Castro?
His
Yeah.
name was Castro. Yeah.
Castro, yeah.
And but I mean, life plus 1,000 years.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit like hyperbole.
Who can he play with then? That SOB.
Yeah, I would have been happy with the death penalty myself. but-
I think you're right. What about Detroit? You guys never talk.
What's the bigger waste? The exceedingly long time between conviction and execution in death penalty cases, or all the expense we have for putting low-level marijuana dealers and filling up prisons with them?
Hey, there was a
Probably
name.
about the same, right? In
If
terms
you-
of time and
It's a
money.
wash, right?
If
It's
you
a
would
wash.
look through that pile of topics, you would find a story about a guy who was supposed to go to the death penalty this week, and he hanged himself.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the interesting thing was,
Did you know
as I read into that,
I
Yeah.
didn't hear about that, no.
it appears that he probably, his sentence probably would have been put aside.
Probably.
There was supposed to be a hearing today on putting aside his death sentence, and I guess he decided he'd rather be dead.
What was the
I mean,
what was the charge, or what was he convicted of?
He actually killed 2 people. He killed,
Yeah.
he killed a woman who was babysitting a couple of kids. And
Yeah, it's a
killed her in
sad
front
little
of them.
story.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty business,
Yeah.
but
All right.
but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, in abstract, you tend to think that you would rather just die than sit in a prison for the rest of your life. But when it comes to it, people make all kinds of deals
But Whitey Bulger.
to do it.
What'll he do? You think he's going to go away for a long time, isn't he, Whitey Bulger? What do you think?
Well, it's not going to be that long. He's old.
What do you say, David?
Well, he is old.
Yeah, he
and
is old.
He is going to go away for the rest of his life.
You think,
However long that is.
Wait a minute. This guy's a bank robber who's figuring out how to get out of jail, escape or something at the same time.
You know, it was strange that witness that ended up being found in the woods
A few
Right.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
What was
the
that
one
all
who
about?
the one who had a liquor store that they took away from him,
Yeah.
told him they'd kill him if he didn't give
Yeah.
up the store.
And then he wasn't called as a witness, but then they found his body.
Which is-
yeah,
couple weeks-
poison.
Another
Is
interesting
that what it was?
thing about that is that his story is probably the most public story for the longest period of time of the whole history of Whitey Bulger. I mean, I remember they're telling that story 30 years ago about
It-
how
it
they
is
came and put a gun to his head and said, "Sell us the store."
Yeah.
I mean, that story, everybody is well versed with that. And he got killed the day after they told him he wasn't going to get to testify in the trial, which seems highly suspicious. And yet, it turns out it had absolutely nothing to do with it.
How did Whitey figure out how to beat the lottery, win the lottery that time? How could he do that?
Well, that was pretty simple. You waited till somebody you knew won the lottery and you went over and said, "I'm your partner."
I wanted you to tell me that. That's what I was waiting
that's
for.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
He got and the guy who got the lottery ticket got a small piece of it.
No, he got half.
He got some. I don't know what the hell it was, but okay.
I mean, Whitey came over and said, "Congratulations, I'm your partner." I
Okay,
mean, that's-
the Globe reporter
It's not a
called
mystery.
him a cowardly thug, which I think is very good. I like that.
I would agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, that's
And as
a
I
very good
pointed out to you,
description.
Very good description.
Yeah.
He waited to call him that until he was in jail for the rest of his life. Yeah. I mean, he's been writing columns in the Boston Globe for 25 years. He didn't call him that when nobody knew where he was. You know,
Well, I
I'm
hope
not going to
Whitey
give
gets
the guy
a shot at this show.
I'm not going to give the guy a presidential medal because he called him what he is.
Yeah, well, okay. All right.
He's a
Although,
good writer, though. Kevin Cullen.
He is a good writer.
What's the basis, however, for calling him a coward?
Because
killed
these
women,
women
he
that he
killed innocent.
strangled and all these people that he shot from and with machine guns and there were all these horrible murders that took place that nobody had a chance. They all got killed by this guy sneaking up on them, so to speak, and with a machine gun or hitting them from behind or stuff like that. He never. And somebody said that he.
Oh,
that
okay.
he did.
So he didn't take him out like Chuck Norris.
No,
face to face.
it wasn't any of this
Kung fu.
12 o'clock high or
like
anything like
Kung
that.
fu.
You know,
It was
No,
more
you're
like
talking about high noon.
high noon. Okay.
12 o'clock high was a World War II bomber picture.
Hernandez, this guy who used to play for the Patriots. I would like to see.
He's Hernandez.
Hernandez?
Yes.
I think. Well, you think he could take on Whitey? Think he could handle Whitey? Hernandez?
Probably.
I'd
Let me
say-
remind you again, Whitey's old.
But sneaky. Okay, he could do stuff that Look at what he had in this room there in California. He had an arsenal there. He had about 35 guns and $1 million in cash.
Which everybody would have said he wouldn't have used. But
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
he was just a gun collector. But
And but they were loaded. Almost all the guns were
it was
loaded.
very funny. It is strange to load a gun and then put it in the wall. But
Yeah, if there was a fire in that house.
But it was a strange maneuver on his part to somehow manage to tell the court, or who did he tell? The court? What was this thing where he said, "I'm willing to sign off all the money you got,
Yeah,
the
he
$800
could.
and some odd $1,000. I'm willing to sign it over on the condition that it be divided between the families."
Yeah, he said
didn't-
something
He
like
clearly
that.
wouldn't have
No,
said
that-
my
Yeah, but
victims. That's not a
sounds
very
like
Yeah,
Whitey.
do
That's
we
Whitey.
have to pay the lawyers, or are they going to use that cash to pay the lawyers? Who pays them?
Who knows?
What do you mean, who knows? I don't want to pay the lawyers. He's got $1 million that they can pay the lawyers with.
Well, what did they try him for 2 months or something, right?
Tomorrow's the
Don't you
fine.
think you could have? Don't you think you could have convicted Whitey Bulger in about 15 minutes?
I think so.
You know,
I think so.
Frankly, I think you could have walked into court and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Whitey Bulger, the prosecution rests."
Okay, this thing
Go
came
with you.
off.
Yeah.
I hope they're listening. I don't think so, though. Okay. What's
Well,
that?
ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the BATV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation for this week,
From the vault.
which is from deep in the vault.
Deep, very deep.
Yeah, moderately.
Wow.
We had to send Rochester down to retrieve this from the vault. Right?
They put some oil on the hinges, don't
Yeah.
forget. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And this one is entitled Memory.
Memory.
Action.
I can't remember,
What?
It'll return.
but I knew before I got here.
Where were you?
Not sure.
Well, you were someplace.
Yeah, of course.
You were traveling here.
In my car.
Or a bus, maybe.
It was about a movie I just saw, I think.
Yeah, but I know. The name eludes you, right?
Don't worry.
Does this happen very often, Mike?
Well, I try to write things down.
So do I.
Then I can't find the paper I wrote on.
What about one of those palm thingies?
I've already got one.
Try retracing your steps.
Very difficult.
Maybe you need more sleep.
Sometimes I forget your names, both of you.
I haven't changed.
No, you're still Kyle.
Yes, Kyle.
Well, I don't look like Joe.
But you could be.
Existentially, perhaps.
What does your neurologist say?
I have high blood pressure.
So what do you take?
Multivitamins twice a day.
So who's your cardiologist?
Well, he gave me Flomat, Enron, and Proscott.
No, that's your urologist.
Oh, you don't look like Kyle.
I'm Kyle.
Are you sure?
I've been.
Ha 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 ha. I've been living with him for 45 years.
So it was a civil ceremony.
He is
Yeah.
not gay.
When we were young and gay once.
Well, at least content.
That doesn't sound right.
You're not very helpful.
You have a cell phone?
Yeah. Call yourself up.
You could take your picture.
Then what?
Well, there's your caller ID.
So I know.
Is that friendship?
What about the movie?
Who was in it?
Well, my head hurts.
Migraines?
That's it.
You had a headache.
Haddock. The name of the movie.
Headache?
No, Migraine Tomorrow.
Ah, romance epic.
I remember that. The protagonists meet in a hospital morgue.
There's an instant attraction.
Ah, the odor of formaldehyde.
And there's a body.
She's young and beautiful.
The body?
No, the doctor.
I see. The detective falls for her, huh?
But she poisoned the victim.
Who left her out of the will?
I'm starting to recall everything.
But Lieutenant Farquhar is very suspicious.
The doctor was preparing to do an autopsy.
The phone rings.
It's the masked invader.
From Baghdad.
Yes. All right, fine. I'll be there.
Who was it?
He didn't say.
How do you know?
It's his memory.
Nothing wrong with me.
But you said.
I never did.
Now, come, Mike.
Don't patronize me, Joe.
It's your tone, Joe.
There's something radically wrong here.
The,
Come on.
the lieutenant stops the autopsy.
Drugs, huh?
No, the doctor hasn't paid 37 parking tickets.
You mean?
Yes, she arrests her.
Wait a minute.
You didn't say they were women?
They met in City Hall.
But you said he picks up the phone.
The nurse, you dummies.
Oh, then you think he did it.
Look, no snap judgments, please.
How's your memory?
I never felt better.
Curiouser and curiouser.
We never found out where he was.
No, it's worse.
The name of the movie, Blackout.
Blackout.
Now, what is that song?
There it is.
What's that song? He's going to sing it.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Geez, that sounds pretty good. You don't need me.
10 minutes left?
that it?
Not even close.
Not recognizably, no.
It'll come back to it. It'll come
It
to
does come back to you. It comes back to you every time you're warming up.
What?
Da, 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 da,
Oh, I got it. Okay.
da, da.
Okay.
Don't ask
He
me what the
didn't come
words
back,
were.
he handed it to you.
Da, da, da.
Sing.
Woman, woman, and
There it is.
so
All right, done.
days.
Okay. We heard 12 notes you're saying. All right. You can't expect too much.
The sound ran great.
Carl,
Those were the days.
what about all these immigrants?
What about them?
They want them to halt. They want to halt deportation. I thought they were going to reform the immigration, the Dream Act.
You did?
I thought they
You
were.
actually
gonna
thought that was going to happen? Huh?
Yeah, I thought something was going to happen. This guy, Senator Rubio of Florida, I think he's running. He's hoping to run for president, isn't he? He's got to do something for the immigrants, doesn't he?
Oh, well,
A lot of them live in Florida.
I think if Obama wants to do something, he could.
a lot of them voted. A lot of them vote in Florida.
Well, anyways, here are all these people who are being deported. You'd think they'd hold off.
Are there many people being deported?
Well, that's what the paper says. There are people
Yeah.
pending deportation of the Reform Act. I don't know.
Pending deportation or true?
I don't know. I don't know. But what about Detroit's bankruptcy? You guys didn't say anything about that.
We didn't. No. You notice that we ran through all these topics in the green room before we went on. The last three never made the list when we were doing.
For good reason.
This,
Wait,
this
I
is
don't
the way
like
it
your
goes,
accent.
David. You see, you understand how this goes.
You think you know everything, David?
I know very little.
Yeah, you know.
Proud of it.
You've been coaching me for years. I
I
know.
don't know, Michael.
Good guy.
You tell about what we didn't talk about. We didn't raise. What about the casinos?
Oh, we didn't even talk about the casino.
This is more revenue for the state.
Yeah. Will it really happen, or will the governor leave office with bales and suitcases under his arms, or what? What's he going to do with all the money? Is it going to happen?
It's very interesting because apparently they have drastically cut back their lobbying. In the last 6 months, I think it is, they've spent less than half as much lobbying as they spent in the previous 6 months. And they're actually now, all these companies who want to run casinos are segueing to
You mean wait a minute?
campaigning in the various cities and towns to
All
get
these
the vote.
commissioners who are supposed to be investigating them, they've given up flying all over the world to find out where all these other casinos are that these fellows are putting up?
They're probably pretty much done with that.
Okay, they're done with
Actually,
that.
that's an interesting thing because I don't recall hearing one word in the news in the last 6 months about the Gaming Commission.
No.
Do you recall hearing anything about the Gaming
Nothing.
Commission?
Nothing.
I actually have a little gambling trivia.
Yes.
I work as an addictions counselor, and I've been to some recent trainings, and I learned this little tidbit. Massachusetts is #1 in the country in terms of what we spend on gambling.
You mean
the
the lottery business?
Horse tracks, lottery, casinos, just the
yeah.
whole, it's just so much part of our culture.
Just because we spend most of it in Connecticut doesn't mean.
Well, okay.
This man Ponchakowski, who used to own that, have a big role in that trotting track. You know, he'd always walk by that counting room, and he'd take samples before he left the counting room. I think they called it in the paper skimming today.
Yes, there was a name for that. It was called skimming. It was
Skimming, yeah.
invented
Skimming
in Los
or
Angeles,
swimming?
Las Vegas.
I mean, we're not going to have any of that like that in our casinos. Of course not. Nobody will do things like that.
No, we wouldn't do that.
No. Do you like the idea?
But you're the one who's so eager to have the casino.
Well, I want to see the American, Native Americans, that's the proper term, the Native Americans get a shot at this. I think they should have a casino. I do.
Well, the funny thing is that at the snail's pace that it's going at, they may actually open the first one. You know?
Maybe, yeah, down there, where is it, Milford or someplace? I don't know.
I don't know, Brockton or
Yeah, it could be.
or
It's
New
down-
Bedford or
the Indians.
Fall River.
Are they gonna? They haven't got a reservation yet.
The Indians, you're talking
Yeah.
about Cleveland.
No,
No,
he's
Mashpee.
talking about the
The Mashpee
Wampanoags.
Wampanoags. Yeah,
The
okay.
Wampanoags.
Oh, okay. Maybe they'll catch a whale or something out there, and that'll help.
You're
pay
thinking of the
bills.
Hartford Whalers.
There you go. That's an. Oh, you know all these things. Okay, all right.
I think there's a minor league team now called the Whalers again.
Will the government, our government try to bail out Detroit? That's what I want to know.
I don't think we need more bailouts.
Okay, I
think
agree.
we need
What do you think?
personal accountability.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
that's pretty
I'm not-
draconian. What?
I'm not sure why you would.
What personal
Bail
responsibility?
out? Well, won't they? Will they start cutting the poor employees, the state, the teachers, the fire, the police, the city employees, cut their pensions? Is that what they have in mind? I don't know. I hope not.
Well, I mean, if the city,
They don't have
the
any
fact
money.
of the matter is that I have no idea what the current latest legal status of
It's
this thing,
18
because
billion they owe.
We had one court said it's unconstitutional to declare bankruptcy, and another court say, no, it's not. It has to send it back to the court. So I don't know where the courts have ruled on things, but frankly, if an entity goes bankrupt, it doesn't matter what kind of contracts it has.
Why, do
It
the
ceases
people
to exist.
do the people in Detroit, do they have any ideas, creative ideas, to build something new?
My guess is no. I would think it's going to come
No
from
manufacturing.
Well, there
I think
no,
from,
no.
I mean, there's
2
a lot of
minutes, we
bright
got
people
1
there.
minute.
There are
but
some interesting things
Yeah.
being
Maybe it's from us.
considered in Detroit. One is that Detroit has about half the population that it did
Yeah.
in its previous size. And one of the things is to just level like half the city.
Yeah, everybody could be busy leveling half the city. That would keep things going for a couple of years because there's a huge number of buildings that are boarded up there. I was thinking
there's
going
whole-
out there
there's whole
buying a
abandoned
brick building. What do you think
I
of
think
that?
the three of us should go out there together after the show,
Yeah.
buy some property.
Buy some property.
in
Why
Detroit.
not? Yeah,
I think it could be a good investment for us.
I think it would be a good investment.
Well, Michael, before we go off, where do you want to increase the school capacity in Brookline?
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night.
Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody. From the fun show here at
Good night.
BATV, we want to thank David Poles for joining us this evening. See us next week, same time, same
next
station
week,
with a different
no,
cast.
we're going to be off for
We're
weeks.
off next week. Why are we off next week?
They said so. The 12th, we're off.
Well, you didn't tell me that. Don't turn in next week.
Well, turn in and be surprised by a blank screen. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with
no,
that.
they'll run a rerun.
Reedy was, by the way,
Irene.
Irene Reedy was a teacher for a long time, over 20 years. So.
Yes.